Randy Smith's athletic gifts made him such a fun player to watch. Even at 6'3", his leaping ability allowed him to play small forward at times. He was the fastest guard in the league at his best, as he was a blur in transition. Once he got to the rim, he could finish through tough defense, or he could rise up and throw it down. He could play without the ball in his hands, and he could knock it down from the mid-range. He was a pest on defense, as his lateral quickness allowed him to keep up with opposing ball handlers. Once he arrived in Buffalo, it took a few years for him to reach his potential, but he would put the league on notice in 1978, coming off the bench to win the MVP of the All-Star game and draining some insane shots in the process. Even with this achievement, Randy spent his best years on a small market expansion team, so his contributions went largely unnoticed. The most commendable thing about Randy was that he took care of his body, as he set the NBA record for consecutive games played. He was one of the most overlooked guards of the 70s, so it's time that we pay respects to the Iron Man. Welcome to PC Hoops, and let's get down to it. Randy was born on December 12, 1948 in Bellport, New York. He was an exceptional athlete at Bellport High, lettering in soccer, basketball, and track, where he set a state record with a 6'6" high jump. Even as Randy continued to excel athletically, the big schools weren't paying attention, so he attended Division II Buffalo State College. Randy continued to play all three sports, and he was an All-American in all three, but he chose to stick with basketball, leading the Bengals to 3 straight conference championships and a trip to the Final Four in 1970. As you might expect, Randy didn't get a ton of exposure playing at a small school, so he wasn't slated as a top pick. He actually had to wait a while, as he was chosen in the 7th round by the local Buffalo Braves. Being such a late selection, Randy wasn't given much of a chance to make the team, but he surprised everyone by surviving the final roster cuts. He was athletic enough to play small forward, as he joined Bob Kaufman, Elmore Smith, Walt Hazard, and Dick Garrett. The Braves were still developing, so Randy played heavy minutes. He broke out with 35 points and 8 rebounds on 71% shooting against the Hawks. Randy showed an all-around skill set, with 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists on the Hawks again, and 24 points, 13 rebounds, and 7 assists on the Celtics. With him playing closer to the hoop, he was attacking the boards, dropping 6 double-doubles. Bob made the All-Star team, while Elmer was the runner-up for Rookie of the Year. But the Braves still had a lot of offensive issues, so they finished with 22 wins. Randy averaged 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. The Braves got lucky and were able to take Bob McAdoo 2nd overall in 1972, as Randy became the full-time starter. He dropped 29 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists in the 5th game of the year, followed by 33, 8, and 7 on the Bullets, and 32, 5, and 8 on the Celtics. The Braves were having point guard problems this year, so Randy would often move down and run the offense, as he had 5 games with double-digit assists. Randy actually finished in the top 20 for dimes, while Bob Kaufman made the All-Star team, and Bob McAdoo won the Rookie of the Year. Even with all of this, the Braves still ranked near the bottom of the league on both sides of the ball, so they only won 21 games. Randy averaged 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. The Braves really shook things up in 1973, acquiring Jim McMillan, Gar Hurd, and Jack Marin, while also drafting Ernie DiGregorio from Providence. Randy played his role again this year, and he dropped 24 points in the 2nd game of the year. He showed potential in the defensive end as well, dropping 15 points, 6 assists, and 7 steals on the Blazers, and 15 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 8 steals on the Sixers. Along with his 4 30-point games, he had 2 games with double-digit rebounds and assists. McAdoo really broke out, leading the league in scoring, while Ernie led the league in assists and won the Rookie of the Year. The Braves have finally found a successful formula, as their 42-win season secured their first playoff appearance as a franchise. Randy averaged 16 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and a career-high 2.5 steals, which was 3rd in the league. Buffalo faced Boston in the semifinals, and Randy dropped 16 in his postseason debut, but the Braves lost by 10. He didn't shoot too well over the next 3 games, but the series was tied heading into Game 5. Randy erupted for 25 points on 11 of 14 shooting in Game 5, but Boston snuck out a 3-point win. He stunk it up in Game 6, shooting 3 for 16 as the Celtics won and advanced. Buffalo didn't make a lot of changes in 1974, but Randy was the clear-cut number 2 option behind Bob. He seemed to be on the cusp of breaking out, dropping 29 points and 13 assists on the Rockets, and 23 points and a career-high 14 assists on them again. When Ernie went down with a knee injury, Randy stepped in to fill his role, and he was playing well, averaging 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists on 51% shooting in December. He had 11 games with at least 10 dimes, finishing 4th in total assists. Bob put the team on his back this year, winning the MVP this time. The Braves found success by outscoring their opponents, and this resulted in the then franchise record 49 wins. Randy averaged 18 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals as Buffalo faced Washington in the semifinals. He was great in this series, dropping 24, 6, and 9 in Game 1, 16, 8, and 7 with 5 steals in Game 2, and 21, 4, and 5 in Game 5. The series went all the way to Game 7, but the Braves were blown out to be eliminated. During the summer, Randy still wanted to play soccer, so he tried out for the Tampa Bay Rowdies of the North American Soccer League. However, his contract with the Braves forbade him from playing soccer. He tried out 2 more times, but the coaches determined that his soccer skills had diminished too much from his focus on basketball. Randy finally realized his potential in 1975, and he became one of the league's rising stars. He dropped 32 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 8 steals on the Sixers, and 30 points, 5 rebounds, and 13 assists on the Bullets. His scoring took the biggest leap, as he averaged 22 in December, 25 in January, and 23 in March. Randy finished 7th in scoring, 7th in assists, and 9th in steals, not just making his All-Star debut, but earning a spot on the All-NBA second team. He and Bob basically carried this team to 46 wins and another playoff appearance. In his breakout season, Randy averaged 22 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals on a career-high 49% shooting. In the inaugural year of the 3-game first-round series, Buffalo faced Philly. Randy hit a double-double in Game 1 with 11 points and 13 assists, and the Braves won to strike first. He averaged 27 and 9 over the next 2 games, and Buffalo stuck out a 1-point win in overtime to advance to the semifinals. They faced Boston, and Randy dropped 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 12 assists in the Game 1 loss. He put up 29, 14, and 7 in Game 3, and 28 and 10 to tie the series in Game 4. He had a great performance in Game 6 with 24 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists on 11 of 18 shooting, but Boston won a close one to send the Braves home. In 1976, Coach Ramsey left to coach the Trailblazers, as he was replaced with an assistant named Tates Locke. The Braves drafted Adrian Dantley, and Ernie D was finally healthy again. Dantley would cut into Randy's shot attempts, so his production would dip slightly. That didn't mean he wasn't still producing, as he dropped 24 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, and 4 steals on the Pistons, 26 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 8 steals on the Hawks, and a career-high 41 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and 5 steals on the Pacers. He was 20th in scoring, 11th in assists, and 8th in steals. But the Braves were in disarray, starting the season 16 and 30. Locke was fired, and GM Bob McKinnon took over for a few games before Joe Mulaney was hired. They also traded Bob to the Knicks for essentially nothing, while Adrian averaged 20 and won the Rookie of the Year. But the Braves were in the basement, finishing with just 30 wins, as Randy averaged 21 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. Cotton Fitzsimmons would be the new head coach in 1977. The Braves signed a lot of former NBA talent, with the best being Billy Knight, Sven Nader, and Marvin Barnes. Buffalo wouldn't be a good team, but this situation allowed Randy to have complete freedom and he would blossom. He nearly dropped a quadruple-double on the Blazers, with 20 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, and 8 steals. He also put up 40 points on 67% shooting on the Spurs. Randy was named an All-Star again, and he had the best moment of his career, coming off the bench to drop 27 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists, winning the game's MVP. He finished the season 7th in scoring, 7th in assists, and 8th in steals, but the Braves continued to be bad, as they only won 27 games. In his career season, Randy averaged 25 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals. For the last 5 years, the Braves' status in Buffalo was on shaky ground, especially since they shared an arena with the Buffalo Sabres and the University of Canisius. All 3 of these organizations fought over booking dates, and the NBA realized that this situation wasn't sustainable. The fans noticed it too, and the Braves' attendance numbers plummeted. Owner Paul Snyder felt like building a new arena was too expensive, so he decided to sell the team. New owner John Y. Brown met with Irv Levin, the owner of the Celtics, as NBA lawyer David Stern brokered a deal in which the owners would swap franchises. Levin grew up in California and he wanted to own a team in his home state, but he knew the NBA wouldn't let him move to Celtics, so therefore he was more receptive to John's offer. In a near unanimous decision between the owners, the Buffalo Braves moved to the Sunshine State, now becoming the San Diego Clippers. For their first season in California, Gene Shue was hired as the head coach, and the Clippers had a lot of new guys, as World B. Free, Kermit Washington, Nick Weatherspoon, and Sidney Wicks all had sizable roles. Randy conceded a lot of shots to World, but he was still elite in his own right. He dropped 36 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 6 steals on the Jazz, 29 points, 4 assists, and 7 steals on the Blazers, and 21 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 8 steals on the Spurs. World had a breakout year, averaging 29 points and making an All-NBA second team. The Clippers were surprisingly competitive, as even though their defense was non-existent, they could score with the best of them. But while 43 wins was their most in 3 years, they were 2 games out of a playoff spot. Randy averaged 21 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. Randy had averaged 20 points for 4 years in a row, but it hadn't really translated to a lot of winning basketball. But the Clippers wanted draft capital, so the longest tenured player in the franchise's history up to that point was sent to the Cavs for a first-round pick. Cleveland was a middle-of-the-road team, as Randy joined Foots Walker, Campy Russell, Dave Robish, and Mike Mitchell in the starting lineup. Mike was getting a lion's share of the shots, so Randy's numbers would go down, but he did go off on multiple occasions, dropping 30, 5, and 10 on Houston, 32, 4, and 10 on Washington, and 16 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, and 8 steals on the Knicks. Mike really broke out as he doubled his scoring average from last season, but a knee injury to Campy would really hurt Cleveland. They finished with a 37-45 record, which wasn't bad, but it wasn't enough for the playoffs. Randy averaged 18 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. The Cavs had a few draft picks in 1980, but their best was Notre Dame's Bill Laimbeer. Mike Bratz and Kenny Carr were starters this year, but for the first time since his rookie season, Randy wasn't the primary starter, as he shared minutes with Roger Fegley. Even with a reduction in playing time, Randy was still effective, dropping 26 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists in the second game of the year. He grabbed 8 steals the next game, and on Halloween, he didn't shoot the best, but he had 21 points, 5 rebounds, 14 assists, and 7 steals. However, starting from the day after Christmas to the end of the year, his role was dramatically reduced, and his production suffered because of it. Mike Mitchell and Kenny had career years, while Mike Bratz led the league in three-pointers made and attempted, but Cleveland regressed, winning just 27 games this year. Randy averaged 15 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1.5 steals. The Cavs were looking to clean house, so Randy was traded to the Knicks for a first-rounder. But like the Cavs, the Knicks were just an average team, being led by Michael Ray Richardson, Maurice Lucas, and Bill Cartwright. Randy would start periodically, but he still showed that he had something left in the tank, dropping 25 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 steals on the Nuggets, 26 points on 9 of 13 shooting against Philly, and 25 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals on the Bucks. The Knicks had a chance to make a playoff push late in the season, but they went 2-8 in April, and they squandered it, as 33 wins wasn't enough. Randy averaged 10 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. By 1982, it was clear that Randy was on his way out of the league, not because of injury or lackluster performance, but simply due to the nature of the business. Now a free agent, he went back to where it all started, sort of, as he signed with the Clippers. San Diego had a promising young duo of Terry Cummings and Tom Chambers, but that was it. November 3rd against the Sixers was a historic night, as Randy played in his 845th consecutive game, breaking Johnny Kerr's record. He was more of a reserve this year, but he did have a 7-game stretch averaging 18 points and 6 assists on 59% shooting. The Clippers, as usual, were nowhere near the playoffs by March, so Randy requested to be traded to a contender. In the few days he waited to be signed, his consecutive game streak was snapped at 906. On March 18th, he joined the Hawks for their postseason run, and he dropped 18 points and 4 assists within his first week in Atlanta. The Hawks finished 43-39, as Randy averaged 8 points, 1 rebound, and 3 assists. He played in the postseason for the first time in 7 years, but his role was minimal as the Hawks lost in 3 games. Randy retired in the offseason, and he worked as a league executive, helping former players who were in need. He was a coach in the CBA, and he also held a job at Mohegan Sun. Randy prided himself on staying in peak physical condition, so it was a shock when he passed away from a heart attack on a treadmill in 2009 at the age of 60. Randy Smith had the elite physical tools to impact every facet of the game, and that's just what he did. He could put the ball on the string and dice his way through the lane, or he could pull up and knock it down from the outside. He was so fast that defenders were often caught staring at the back of his jersey as he zoomed by them to get to his spots. He had the versatility to run the point guard and the small forward, while also locking up the opponent's best player. The only real knock you could say about him was that he never had the playoff success to warrant more recognition, but this was mostly due to him being on small market teams. Someone with his style of play would have been an amazing asset to a real contender, but Randy made the most out of whatever situation he was in. He brought excitement to a relatively new franchise, and most importantly, he showed up every night. Thank you guys. I really appreciate y'all for the support. When I see him play, and I saw a quote from Walt Frazier that said that he's like Westbrook before Westbrook, and I cannot agree more. He might not be as tall as Westbrook or as like strong, but he was extremely fast. He could blow by dudes. Like the first step was just lethally fast, and he can finish through contact. He can shoot. He can play defense. One of those guards who can literally do everything. Just because you were on a small market team, you were on a team like the Buffalo Braves, they weren't really getting a lot of media coverage. I mean, he made 2 All-Star appearances and he did make an All-NBA team, but you know, just in general, his whole career was underrated. But shout out to Randy Smith, man. Definitely the second best Buffalo Brave ever. Please do not say Moses Malone. Please do not. Somebody better not come in my comments and say Moses Malone. He only played 2 games with them. Do not say Moses, please. But shout out to Randy Smith. RIP to Randy, man. Like, he definitely reminds me of Westbrook. Like, definitely one of the first real athletic guards that the league had really seen ever. I mean, you had fast point guards, but they weren't like jumping out the gym point guards. Like, they just had the speed and the agility. I really appreciate y'all for the support. Leave a like if you enjoy. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Turn on my post notification if you haven't already. Please be safe. Stay on the grind. Have a great day. I'm out. Peace.